be hopping into this one first and foremost. Okay, well, these three definitely stood out as the three best players from what we could see. So I like that the format worked up until then. But as you were mentioning, Joel, this could go on forever. If it goes 1-1 for every player, we just keep cycling it. And eventually, someone is going to have to go 2-0 and 0-2. But there's a chance that it does go on for quite a long time. So it could be interesting.
Valkyrie is an interesting pick, so wonder what Ztephan has in mind in terms of his deck selection. And, you know, not taking anything away from Ztephan, but in terms of pure technicalities and show of prowess individually shown by these players, I think I do have to give over the edge over to GHD on this specific matchup. And I'm personally liking Tauki to be the favorite from what I've seen. And he's been very technically proficient and really come up with these decisive movements that is really hard to see from even the best of players. So for me, I would have to pitch my torch over to him. I would say GDH 65 a little bit closer, but Ztephan, he hasn't shown too much for me. It's good that he's gotten here, but now he's going to have to show a lot more because it's going to require him to play at his very best if he wants it to make it over to Xi'an.
I'd have to agree. I think Tauki kind of stood out amongst the crowd, just overall. I think he lost to, I'm trying to look here now. Maybe Ztephan. I think that was the loss. Not 100% sure on that, but
could have been.
I think it was against one of the better players, somewhere in the middle.
It's been a long day, as we all know, and still a lot more left to go, as we would have predicted. But we do need a fair amount of games just to decide who indeed are the best two, and so far it's been undecided. That's going to be it, just a Mega Knight as the last card revealed. You can see that with the Ram Rider being the main win condition, and just tanking it up. Remember that punching back for 6 elixir is not the best of trades you want to make. Usually when you see that play being made, that player does end up losing, so we'll see what Ztephan's fate is coming from this one now.
Good offense there with the Ram Rider.
Ooh,
just like
zap.
Yeah.
Right at the end. If it wasn't for that, that would have got a couple hundred damage easily with the Ram Rider charge.
We're getting to the best players now. They have those small micro movements that can really wow you in this game.
Game of inches. We talk about game of pixels. It's the difference maker here. And Ram Rider now towards the far corner, still being dragged in by the tombstone. That tombstone looks pretty tasty to the eyes of the Ram Rider, supposedly. That's going to go all the way that much of an extension just to get there.
This is a pretty good push here from Ztephan. He got a lot of value out of his Valkyrie. The question is, can he cycle to the zap? I don't believe so. Still a decent push. Got some nice damage in.
Yeah, just not going to be able to use that zap, and feels like it's not really an option for Ztephan to save those 2 elixirs for something else a little bit later, especially along that defensive line, and continue on the snowball as now leakage does happen a little bit from GDH. Valkyrie is naturally a great counter against the Mega Knight. 7 versus 4, it can tank for days. We'll see where this Royal Giant lands up. That's a big assignment for GDH to tackle on here. Tell you that Ram Rider really goes for that tombstone every single time.
Thing is, okay.
Got the charge.
Nice little charge there, but take a look at this. Inferno Dragon's down. Now we have some protection for the Royal Knight. This could be a good push.
Yeah, the Royal Giant coming in here, and with the E-Wiz, going to limit it to just not even a single hit. Okay.
I'll take that back.
Yeah, that was going to get at least 1 hit on there. Doesn't get the tombstone with that charge from the Mega Knight. And obviously the Musketeer doing a very good job defensively. Not going to worry about the left tower at all for GDH. Definitely going to be focusing on defending the right one. Make sure this Valkyrie gets no damage on. And now it is suddenly very, very close. While a little bit towards the side of Ztephan just a little bit early with these couple of runs that he had with the...
Ooh, the rocket. Yeah. The rocket saved for that last moment, hidden up until then.
But it got good value. Obviously 8 for 6 on that one for Ztephan, but How much are you willing to take that? You're going to do it every single time you see those two double 4 elixir units, as we do have 16 seconds left to go. We were talking about making it very difficult to separate these sides. Now it's becoming more and more difficult. We might just get a tie here.
Take a look at this. Tombstone just down. Ram Rider left side. We've seen this before. Could get that charge, and it does.
I just don't think there's enough time unless this Royal Giant gets something incredibly important here. 1, not even 2 hits, and this Valkyrie won't get much either. Just get 1 swipe, but eventually this 30 seconds kind of tells me that it will once again just be another draw between these two very fierce competitors.
Does look like we're heading down that road, doesn't it?
Seems like nothing to separate these sides. Ztephan and GDH have shown all day long that they really do want to make it Xi'an, and nothing's going to stop their way of getting there. And 10 seconds left to go. We know that 8:22, 10:94, not going to be easy to break from this angle, and it will be once again another time we see from this live matchup.
So, draw is going to be coming in here. We got some extra action for Clash Royale, and it is fitting, right? You get in to this tiebreaker with 3 of the best players that are obviously better than everybody else in the tournament, and we are going to have these games where people just make very few mistakes, and it goes down to draws and do-overs. So, not too surprising for me, Joel.
You're trying to separate who is better than the other. Definitely did not show there. I thought GDH would have been the better player with these micro movements, but overall, just overall operation of how he manages the game, it feels like Ztephan has really shown something different about this game of Clash Royale. It's not all about the micro movements. There's definitely more to it than this game shows. So once we get into this repeat of game 1, definitely not going to game 2 yet. No separation in terms of these two players, in terms of skills, and both players are definitely ready to go.
It's Nike versus excellence through passion. Who's got the better shirt?
Well, we can't be biased on any type of shirts right now. We have to be biased on any player because we want to see a clear winner out of this one.
All right, do we see similar stuff, or maybe a little bit of a mix-up?
You know, both decks were very defense-oriented. It's more of that Mega Knight. If it does turn out to be successful defensively, send that Ram Rider, then you'll be able to get some good damage onto the towers. And same for the other side. The Royal Giant only works when your defense has succeeded. And for Ztephan, really hasn't worked out too much towards that endeavor. So this kind of goes to show that nothing really aggressive came about in terms of the deck selection in the first game. And has to be a little bit different now, knowing that the Zap with this Valkyrie might just be the same exact deck for Ztephan. And for GDH though, Dark Prince, is it going to be anything different than what we saw last time around? Yep, just the Ram Rider.
Yeah.
You asked the question of, are we going to get anything different? There's your answer. Well, the Ram Rider got a hit. That's actually pretty huge.
Different, right?
Yeah.
A big lead now already for GDH.
Maybe Ztephan just felt like this was like a rewind in time and feel like the result will be just the same, but you can't be on cruise control on this one. Definitely have to make sure those Ram Rider charges amount to nothing every single time. Does take a lot of your resources to get that done though.
Poison's been getting a lot of value, I feel like, in this so far. And
yeah, and just blind poison just to get the Musketeer and also the tower.
Yeah, I mean, he already has a nice health lead, so I don't mind it.
And you can see that both players don't want to go to another tie situation again. They're going pretty aggressive with their spell usage. They're going pretty aggressive with summoning the Royal Giant early, and even the Zap, very nicely done. It's still going to get the splash damage. That is a miscalculation from the side of Ztephan, thinking that was going to run through, but Pekka as the last card is definitely going to help out in this matchup, but you can see that GDH has the right idea, maybe was predicting that the same deck would come about again. Instead of going for the Mega Knight, going for the Pekka instead as a direct killer onto that Royal Giant. And just Rammer now being less options to stop this threat coming in.
Yeah, it's really all the GDH show in this game, isn't it? As
looks good.
Right side getting really weak now.
Left side, just leave that alone. You usually don't have to team touch that one. And now you can see the spell usage pretty aggressively with the Barbarian Barrel, and now the P.E.K.K.A. limiting the Royal Giant to just one hit. You'll take that any time of the day, and that's pretty much an acknowledgement as you see the nod coming from Ztephan, knowing that he was beat in the deck selection. And continued pressure on the left side and also along the right side means that this P.E.K.K.A. and this Baby Dragon will do just enough damage and one more poison all to get this done.
The 1 health.
Wow.
Yeah.
Snowball of poison, whatever it takes. Just a ceremonial finale to what was a very, very long and extended battle, and GDH eventually makes one little adjustment to his deck, and that's all he needed.
It was a good read, like you mentioned, right? The deck selection can be very good in these tournaments. Just having a good read on what the meta is or what you think that type of player will play and just tuning your decks to that. And it's obvious that GDH had his number in this one, even though it did take that little mix-up that you were mentioning after the draw. So it is only 1-0 right now. It is not decided.
Yeah, same elixir cost for GDH on that deck, switching out the Mega Knight to the P.E.K.K.A. Same on that 7 elixir cost. Really all you needed was the Valkyrie. The fact that you needed the Valkyrie countering the Mega Knight was a problem for GDH in that first time of that first game. The second time around, why don't you switch it up for a different unit that counters Valkyrie, which is definitely the P.E.K.K.A. on that instance, and also does a very good job against Royal Giants as well. So I think for this one, it might be the Bowl Loon time, if I have to say for myself.
Yeah.
And it feels like Ztephan's going to be put into the situation where he has to play with his most comfortable and situational deck, which might be very fitting in this instance.
So let's jump into this right now. Game number 3 is going to happen here. Technically game 3,
yeah,
because of that draw.
Third game,
second decider match. I don't know what you would call that.
You know, we're trying to decide the tiebreaker, right? You know, as we saw both players be evenly skilled and really inseparable in terms of their skill outputs based on the skills they've shown throughout the day, and we're trying to separate who's better than the other. But even that first game had us on a tougher difficulty of understanding how to get that done. Okay, back to the bowling.
Here it is. Mega Knight gets put back, but that's very expensive.
Too heavy.
And that's going to be
2 drops, easy.
Maybe 3.
Yeah, the EWIS doesn't even go back to that, and that's
it's already dead.
Yeah, that's gonna be towered down.
There you go. Look at GDH. He's like, oh boy.
You know, I've heard Ztephan say this morning in the Maker Room when he was really boasting about this deck, saying he reached top 150 in the world just with this deck. You know, the deck itself, I'm sure it has its mastery purposes, but the way Ztephan has really, really grabbed this deck and taken it to his, and knowing the usage ins and outs of this deck made him a very spectacular player. And if he's a one trick with this specific deck and it works every time, no one's gonna blame him. There are a lot of one tricks out there in the world, especially in Clash Royale when we have the Hawk cycle decks, when we have the Expo cycle decks.
This is kind of an awkward push for him to deal with. Let's see what he can do. Good aggro management here. But that snowball.
Oh, that snowball's beautiful.
Oh,
Tornado.
man. And another jump. Oh, close.
Okay, so thought I was going to get somewhere with that one, but Double Dragon's on their way now. The Baby Dragon looking like he's going to tank up first with this faster speed.
E-Wizard's so good against that. Now, more aggression, but the bowler part of this comes out.
Okay, so you can see the interaction with the bowler with the Ram Rider is a favorable one for Ztephan, as it does push away the Ram Rider, unlike the heaviest units in this game.
Oh, the Lumberjack getting on in there, 3 swings.
Yeah, the likes of P.E.K.K.A., the Giants, and the Golem is not pushed away by the boulders. But you can see that at the side of the Ram Rider, it still does the trick. So the bowler, once again, doing a very good job. You can see that as long as you slow down the Ram Rider, there's no chance for it to connect it onto the target. That's really all you're wanting.
Oh, but it's going to get in there, though.
Oh, just completely ignoring that.
Oh, boy. And the push is continuing here.
Oh, my.
Oh, this is real awkward now. Okay.
Yeah.
Baby Dragon will clean that up, but
technically, yes, Ztephan has the lead right now, but knowing the situation of this, that Ram Rider wasn't supposed to hit the target, but the bowler just got, uninterested later on by the bowler. You have to go for the Ram Rider every single time. Just did not come to fruition there.
Oh boy. Now Inferno Dragon going to survive. The Bowler's off doing his own thing. He's on vacation.
Yeah, Bowler's going to be fine, and you don't have to worry about that too much if you're GDH. And the Inferno Dragon losing interest in that as well.
Bowler easily dealt with.
Super easy.
Good push here.
This balloon has to be the one. If they want to stop anything right now. And this freeze, maybe almost forgot about this one. He has to go for the minions and that one drop. Yeah, I think that might be it. It's going to go very, very low now. We don't have instant spells for Ztephan, so he can't finish it right away. But any type of a little tickle onto that left tower should do it for Ztephan.
Should be able to do it here. The aggro onto the Bowler.
Good
and the
stuff.
Boulder, not on the right angle, though.
Yeah, he really shifted that Boulder angle with the Mega Knight. Someone at the right position there for GDH. And we'll see what happens now. Really an offensive freeze with this Ram Rider
but the
going pretty
snowball.
aggressive.
Snowball's good. He's got a good push coming.
Oh no, is this what we're fearing?
Oh, but the E-Wizard able to re-juggle that aggro, but still.
Another Mega Knight. Can't forget about that Barbarian. It will now rotate along the right side while the Tornado and the Inferno Dragon combo is trying to take care of it. Does a very good job.
That it does. Maybe you can set up some kind of balloon push here. Try to get it to land in there.
Balloon once again. Have to make sure the Ram Rider targets the balloon is what you're wanting, and you got a couple of stacks on it.
Yeah.
That's going to be it.
He knows it.
Really, the Barbarian, Lumberjack, he had so many options. That was heading towards that tower, and with that Rage procced, one of those was going to hit, and eventually became that one little Barbarian for Ztephan to call it even. And it feels like still nothing is being separated along these two sides. One game, Ztephan looks better, just like here. And one game, GDH does indeed look better than the other player. So, on a situational note, it feels like both players can be better than the other, depending on the situation given at hand. So, really hard to decide who the better player is at the moment, but we have to go into this game 3, our final game. It might just be another tiebreaker, but really, one game to decide it all in terms of who gets closer and closer to making it into Xi'an as that top 2 player from today's qualifiers.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Ztephan, though, was able to get some pretty good advantages off a couple of mistakes in that second game. I would still rate GDH's play rather higher overall. Especially because he was able to fight back and outplay Ztephan. I feel like Ztephan is a little bit more prone to make some little mistakes, as he has said actually directly to the Korean casters. Heard him talking about it before. He's conscious of it. He's trying to do better, and he's definitely a good player. But I feel like GDH is just a little bit more solid.
And if there's a bit of an assignment right now for GDH, it's to find out a true counter deck against the Balloon deck. That's been very, very promising and brought him a lot of wins for Ztephan. And if you guys want to really counter and not allow Ztephan to win, you have to find a proper counter to that Balloon deck.
Absolutely. So game 4, technically. After the draw, this could be the decider here to see who will win first in the tiebreaker.
Big interest as to where Ztephan will just go back. That Bowler and the Balloon composition. That turns out to be the bigger interest would be if GDH found the right just counter against it, because last time around the Balloons weren't really well taken care of. Well, the Ram Rider here again, so it might be the same exact deck for both team players now.
Bowler extremely good against the Ram Rider, of course, but
for sure
has other talents.
So this will take care of it just finely, evenly touched, and pretty much same on Elixir. I would have to say neither player is on the advantage right now.
Yeah, and that's why it kind of resets here.
Yeah, both are leaking Elixirs and are pretty much okay with that. And does have an idea that both players are pretty much even. Do set the Elixir leaked count is a little bit higher towards Ztephan, but because he didn't play that first card as early as GDH did. So all in all, we're pretty much back to even with no damage at all being inflicted onto either side's tower. I have to sort of wonder, knowing that it's pretty much the same deck going both ways, now they're probably thinking about, you know, what's the best approach that I can have to defeat the other. Knowing that the deck is exactly the same on my side, and on the other side is equally the same. And just going to go straight away with 9 elixirs. Let's go.
Oh, but that is going to be sped up here.
Freeze should be coming through, but has to defend against the Mega Knight. So, yeah, even that nice snowball coming through. Definitely no freeze on the side of GDH. So it has to be damage taken. It ends up taking more damage than the one balloon shot that he took.
It's kind of interesting the way that one worked, as they were both struggling to get defense against the expensive units.
Well, there's about 40 seconds left to go in regulation. Means that one to get that little bit of edge on the damage. The first one to get it done. It's definitely going to be the one to win out in this one, because might come very, very close.
There
and that
it
freeze
is.
Now comes through. It will definitely get one drop. Second drop, you have to make sure you don't allow that to happen. But with that bowler and also with that explosion death damage from the balloon, Ewis is now gone. And with this Ram Rider, do you have another bowler ready to go? Can you target it properly? It's going to be a question. And Tornado, making sure the target does come correctly this time around. And no mistakes were made for the side of Ztephan.
I feel like Ztephan's going to try to get in there now with the Rage. Actually, just going to go for the freeze. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, that's going to be 4 elixirs used, where now Ztephan has to worry about so many units coming from GDH's side, and this Mega Knight is not going to be pushed back by any means against this bowler. And Ram Rider is now going in, knowing that the bowler is absent. Tornado's going to be the last resort, but that's going to be it. That one freeze, I think that was the decider. Not having that 4 elixirs in the end just didn't allow that extra bit of defense, and it kind of made it to a very awkward cycle where he had to summon the bowler first before the Ram Rider came about. That's not the correct order if Ztephan wants to win.